This week on Gymwright Live, we interview Michael Cazayoux and learn how you can dramatically increase buy-in to your culture at your gym. Check it out. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Gymwright Live. I'm your host, Marcus Gurzy, and with me today we have the one and only Mr. Michael Cazayoux. What's up, brother?
Not much, man. I'm pumped to be here. Thanks for having me on.
It is an absolute pleasure to have you on, man. Been looking forward to this for quite some time. Happy Friday to everybody watching. Michael, you're a man with who wears many different hats. You've been in this game and in this industry for a long time as an athlete, and as of the last several years, and really how we kind of got to know each other as just a world-class entrepreneur, man. So I'm excited to have you on and get to share, what you're doing and show some of our audience really how we can implement some of the cool things that you've learned over the last years to help them, beef up their gym business. So excited to have you on, man.
Sounds great, man. And I'm excited to be able to give back to your community because I have learned so much from you over the years, and I'm just excited to be able to return the favor a little bit.
Oh man, thank you so much. It's as always, man. It's a pleasure to work with you on all fronts, man. You and your lovely wife, Adi, have always just been a joy to be around. We met years back at a mastermind event, and have really just kind of hit it off since, and gotten to have many conversations, both casual and business. And it's always a joy, man. So excited to have you on. And so anyone who is meeting Michael here for the first time, Michael is responsible for a little something called Brute Strength. He's the co-founder of that organization. They've got a great podcast, been teaching our industry how to move better and how to perform better as athletes. And also now working as the director of the affiliate program at Working Against Gravity, which is your company, your wife's company. However, Michael's been a big part of this, especially over the last couple of years, in getting a new program off the ground that helps gym owners get a successful nutrition program implemented in their gym. So I don't want to let too much out of the bag yet. I'm not sure. I know we're just launching now. Am I already saying too much?
No. I've talked about it on several podcasts.
Okay, good.
And people are emailing us like daily about it. And we just launched the program to 5 beta users. It'll go public in the next year sometime.
Awesome. Very cool,
Yep.
man. Well, for those of you watching and who think implementing a nutrition program as an upsell or specialty program at your gym would be of value to you, here's a hint. It is, and you should. Make sure you check out the program, because the way that Working Against Gravity has approached this, not just from a nutrition coaching standpoint, but just in how they're working with the affiliates, and helping them ensure that they are successful with this program and able to leverage the success that they've had working with thousands of people of all walks of life, from the top performing games athletes to, moms and dads, who don't do any fitness. They're actually able to get people profound results. And so obviously this for us as gym owners is a huge benefit when we combine that with a great training program. So make sure you guys check them out, follow them, all that good stuff. So anyway, let's get to the good stuff. Michael, I know we're going to be covering quite a bit of ground here. A big part of the kind of, I guess, overall point here is to show people how to increase buy-in to their unique culture at their gyms, because we have some unique challenges as more premium service gyms compared to traditional cheap group fitness programs and all that. So I'll let you kind of introduce what it is we're going to do exactly.
Yeah. So on one hand, I want to talk to you guys about how to actually build culture and teach your community what you and your team actually value. We had a lot of talks in the first year or so about what we value as business owners and as people. And we had a really hard time having that trickle down to our community. So I want to talk to you about a very specific way that we've done that, in a concrete way and methodical way. And then the other thing that we're going to talk about is this concept that I learned about a year and a half ago, which is people don't quit because they're unhappy with something. They quit because they don't know what's coming next for them. And when I heard that, it really resonated for me, because I thought about when I first started at a CrossFit gym, and I started out and I saw all of the all of the movements that I could get better at, right? And so for a long time, no one had to tell me anything. I just knew all I wanted to do is get better at these movements. And as my goals changed over time, my buy-in to the process also changed. And so it's a unique opportunity for a gym owner to hold. It was a unique opportunity for them to hold my hand and show them what is next after I gain some mastery in certain movements that I think they missed. And as a business owner myself, I want to make sure that I'm constantly showing people what's next for them at every stage.
Awesome. Excited to get into it with you. Yeah, as gym owners, or specifically if you're a CrossFit gym or something similar to it, basically you run a box style gym. It's one of the biggest challenges, and it's like you said, it's kind of built into the methodology that we have a lot of movements and things that we cover. So it's not the initial piece as much as it is getting that longevity for people and getting people to really see that there's a path forward for them specifically. And I've learned the same lessons in business coaching and really any kind of teaching. If you can lay out for someone, look, this is where we're going to start, then we get to focus on this, and then we can focus on, and you lay out a path for them to see what's next, what's coming. It's that anticipation, and it also breaks things into manageable little sets for them to accomplish, right? Those little milestones are going to allow them to have little wins along the way rather than this big arbitrary, like, well, you're going to get fit. Or, you're going to be successful. It's like, what the hell does that mean? How does that apply to me? So I'm excited to dig in. But before we get into all that, I want to start with the culture piece, because I think that this is such a struggle for a lot of gym owners, in that they know they have this feeling of what they want their culture to be, and there seems to be a disconnect. It's difficult. I mean, it is difficult to get that across successfully to your staff, to your community at large, to get that buy-in. What have you experienced with Brute so far, in what had you identify this and really hone this in?
So it is kind of tied into the second piece, but I'll go ahead and talk about it anyway.
Sure.
So one thing that we have at Brute is a level system, or a patch system, that they can earn, right? And so that's part of the letting them know what's next piece that I was talking about. And we discovered this culture piece kind of by accident. I knew that with every patch that we send out, and I'll give more details on all of that in a little bit, but with every patch that we send out, I want to tell them what it means to have reached that stage of progression in the Brute strength system per se. And so what this looks like specifically is when someone signs up with us, they get in the mail what's called a Brute pledge patch, and it's got a big Brute flag on it, and it's a Velcro patch that they can put on a bag or a hat or whatever they want. And the letter says some of our deepest core values, and it says, by joining this program, I know that you're a little bit different, and I know this because the biggest way that people hear about us is our podcast. And what I'm talking to people about on the podcast are things like how to have a better relationship, how to use the power of vulnerability, how to have a growth mindset, right? It's a ton of mindset stuff. And in general, it's people that are into pursuing excellence in every area of life rather than just competing better. And now, sure, we have people that just want to compete better, but the majority of people come to us for a certain reason. It's because of the story that we continue to tell through the podcast, through our blogs, through different conversations that we're having out in the world. And so we're attracting those type of people already. And it's also an opportunity to kind of say, like, if it is the type of person that just wants to compete a little bit better, I think sending that letter, like reading that letter, gives them an opportunity to kind of shift their mindset. Like if they weren't that way before, then maybe it changes it so that they are that way. They stop just focusing on their fitness and they say, if I can improve this much in my fitness, what can I do in my career? What can I do in my relationships? Though that, like, at our core, that's what we're up to. That's what we want to teach people. And so in that first letter, I write a very vulnerable story about my life and how I came to identify that for myself, and then say, look, you're a part of this tribe now, and that's what this means about you, right? The fact that you joined this program means you're a little bit different. And man, the response that we got from that shit is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. We have people talking about it in the Facebook group and at camp. Like, so when we go to our camps, we have about 30 to 50 people. What we've started to hear after we started sending that letter is, you guys don't just change my fitness, you've changed my entire life, right? Because along with that, we give a lot of educational resources about all of those things: mindset, relationships, recovery, like a million different things outside of just doing more muscle ups or overhead squats. And people are coming back to us and saying, you've really changed the way that I look at my life, and I'm taking risk where I wasn't before, and just all of these really important things that make up the brute cultures today. And so the rest of the patches come with a little bit different message of what it means to stick to something for 6 months, right? Mm-hmm. What it means to stick with something for a year, like what that means about you, expressing gratitude, a bunch of different things that I'm just able to put into a very succinct letter. And again, it just drills in that culture for them.
Yeah, man, I think that's such an important point, because as a box owner, it's the same thing for us, right? Your mission with Brute is not just to crank out a stronger, fitter, faster athlete. It's to create happier, better people, right? That's your tool, but really it's ultimately about making them a stronger person.
Exactly.
Right? And as a box owner, it's the same thing. I know for me, running a box was not just about creating, fitter people. It was that we made people live longer, happier, healthier, more fulfilling lives because of the environment as a whole, right? We made fitness fun for people. We made people better leaders. We made people happier parents, better examples. They were more confident, not just physically, but emotionally, that they, succeeded at work and got promotions. That's what it's all about, right? Yeah. That's the actual reason your gym or your program in your case is so important and so valuable. So being able to connect the dot for people that way, even when someone maybe thought they're only signing up for a fitness program, like in your case, they're showing up because they're like, hey, I hear Brute creates killer athletes. I want to be a killer athlete. And then you bring them into this culture and widen their horizons around what this is actually all about, which is in essence going to create the effect you're going for, right? You're going to make that person a more well-rounded, happier person, whether they realized it or not.
Exactly.
And, yeah. So beautiful point, man. I love it. So
I think I was talking to you have a guy named Jason Rife, right?
No, Jason Fernandez of CrossFit.
CrossFit Rife. Yeah. He was telling me the other day, I was chatting with him, and he was telling me that if his clients come in and it's not the best hour of their day, then they're missing the mark.
100%.
Right? He tries to go so above and beyond just giving them a good workout, mm-hmm. that if that's not the best hour of their day, then they're missing the mark. And he helps drill that into his entire team. I love that methodology.
Yeah, I mean, Jason is a shining example. I've actually had him on the show a couple of times. We've been lucky enough to work with him now for going on a few years in helping him kind of grow his box. And he's 5-star. I mean, that guy is the whole deal, and that's why he does so well. It's because he's tapped into what it's actually about. It's not mm-hmm. about how complex the programming is. It's about how it makes people feel, right? And ultimately, that's going to elicit the response that you want, which is they're going to be more engaged, which means their participation goes up, their frequency goes up, they're going to get better results. It all starts to pull together, right? And it also makes it a positive thing, where I know for myself, training was not always a positive thing for me. Training for me was almost like something I felt like I needed to do for whatever reasons I had when I was younger. You're an insecure teenager, so you train and you do sports and things. You kind of like use these things as tools to make yourself feel better. But ultimately what CrossFit did for me was it made me fall in love with the real idea of fitness for the first time. And that's, for me, what was so valuable in what I loved about this and still love about this community. So making sure that you understand that as a gym owner and saying, look, this is what it's about. I want to make sure you love your hour here with us so that you feel seen, you feel important, you are taken care of. It's obviously good programming and a good, someone who's technically sound to help you move better and stay safe and all that. But yeah, man, that's what it's all about. So, all right. So you guys have this initial letter, you have this patch. So that's kind of how it started, right? And what has it now evolved into? I know there's far more to it than just the initial deal, right? So you've got multiple milestones and things that you do.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'd like to back up for a second because this is part of a bigger concept. So one of the best marketers in the world gave me this feedback that as the highest priced service in an industry, you have to have the best onboarding system.
100%.
Right? You have 100%. To have the absolute highest quality onboarding system because people they're spending more than they would anywhere else. They expect the absolute highest quality introduction to your program. And then another person told me that piece that we started with, which was people don't quit because they're unhappy. They quit because they don't know what's next. And so starting from when someone hits our website until they have exited our program and are no longer going to be with us, we want to be holding their hand through every single step. Mm-hmm. And one reason is because we want to minimize negative feelings. And the second is that we want to maximize positive feelings. So minimize negative feelings, like the biggest is like confusion or fear, like what's next? Right? What do I do next? I just clicked sign up, but I haven't heard from anyone. Like, what do I do next? We want to minimize those moments because those are what contribute to a feeling of I want to quit this program, right? Sure. And then the second is increase positive feelings like hope, like challenge, like all of those types of things. Like I'm looking forward to the future. Yep. And so when we first started out, we were really doing some things wrong, man. Our onboarding system and the way that our software worked, people would they would click buy on a Tuesday, but the way that our software was set up is that their programming couldn't start until the following Monday. And so sometimes it might take a couple days to even get an email from us. Mm-hmm. So people are just freaking out. They just spent $150 and they think this might be a scam. Right? This is an online company. Are they even real? Is this a scam? And so their first experience with us is like elevated heart rate. They are afraid that they just got ripped off. And that caused a lot of chaos in our company.
Friction, yeah.
And so, a ton of friction. And so we did a huge overhaul and we continue to refine the onboarding process. So as soon as someone clicks buy on our website now, mm-hmm. they immediately see a video with whoever their coach is going to be for that program. And the coach welcomes them to the program, tells them a little bit about what it means to be a brute athlete, and then tells them exactly what to expect next. They say, you're going to receive one email, and this is what that email is about. Then you're going to receive another email. That's what that email is about. And then the video is over. Then they go to their email, and the email is there waiting for them. They already know what to expect there. And a couple of the first emails that they get are, one, they get a very bare bones email about what to expect from the program, how to get into the Facebook group, all of that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And then they immediately get a intro email from their coach as well. And from their coach, the coach introduces themselves again, tells them a little bit about himself or herself, and then starts the check-in process. So the big piece there is that human interaction. So as an online company, we have no physical location, and we've had a really hard time connecting with our clients. And so a lot of times we would wait until, or in the beginning, we would wait until they were done with their 2-week testing period to make that contact. Mm-hmm. And in that time, people are just feeling like they're not being taken care of, right? Because at the end of the day, like you were saying, they don't want just sets and reps so that they can get better fitness. They sign up for a premium program because they want that coach to athlete connection. And so
100%.
we inserted that interaction immediately once they sign up, and our customer feedback has just gone through the roof. People feel so much more taken care of. There are so many less questions about what do I do next and all of that. And it's really transformed that part of our program.
Yeah, man. You know, I've learned over the years that when people make a buying decision, right? So they sign up for your program, whether it's your online program or even your gym, right? Because most often, they're coming in for an intro. That's kind of that first step. And what happens is we all have this little voice in the back of our heads that that's been conditioned over the years, to be like, you're going to fail at this like you failed at everything else. It's probably too expensive. They're probably not that good at what they do. This is probably a scam. It's that little, the little devil in the back of your head who's kind of giving you these bad thoughts. But we were overwhelmed by the value or whatever it was that got us to take that initial step and kind of be like, you shut up. I think this is a good thing, and move forward. The problem is when you then, like you said, not engage and not overcome those kind of unspoken fears and concerns and question marks that they have when they get started, like what's next? And oh, look, it's you're controlling the experience from an overwhelmingly positive, through an overwhelmingly positive lens, that you're letting those voices be right. Right? You're
Right.
letting them become disenchanted with your brand before you even had a chance. And that's really unfortunate. And I'm speaking from personal experience too. We learned those lessons the hard way too, where, the onboarding system didn't yet match what's actually how good the service is. And that takes a while. It's not as easy as a lot of people think it is when you're kind of getting things up off the ground, but it is one of the highest return areas because you can keep that good feeling going into your program and now keep that overwhelming, that perceived value higher than what they think they signed up for. And you're now building on it. And that's how you actually create a raving fan. Don't let that disenchantment kick in or sully the awesome stuff that's about to follow just because of some email timing or because of convenience factor, which I know is usually what it comes back to, is that, it's a lot of work and I'm juggling this or that, or I've got to still set up this project or this. Doesn't matter. Put the energy into onboarding someone elegantly in a way that is going to exceed expectations and help answer those question marks before they come up. And you're going to create a really, really positive experience for your people. And someone very new to your program can already become a raving fan.
Yes. And this is something that you've taught me. A lot of this stuff, and yes, it does take a tremendous amount of work in the beginning, but a lot of this stuff is stuff that you can automate, because a simple email saying, hey, in a couple of days, you're going to get your first set of programming. Here's what you can do in the meantime. Like a couple lines of text takes them from thinking like this might be a scam to, oh my God, I'm so excited.
Yep.
Little simple things like that. So you're not, and the automation piece I had trouble with for a long time, thinking, oh, that makes it not as personal, this and that. But no, we still have the one-on-one interaction via email or via Facebook, but we're automating the things that are appropriate to automate so that every customer is getting the same awesome experience.
100%. And you guys are also leveraging the power of video really successfully, because you can still use those tools that may, for face value, feel impersonal, like automating email sequences and landing pages and all that. And it's just being text, right? You're like, well, this isn't going to feel like a personal touch. Well, then create a video that has a personal touch and integrate those into these sequences. And you can take something that may have originally felt quite dry and injected all that personality into it and continue that engagement without you necessarily having to be personally involved right out of the gate.
Exactly. So that onboarding process that I talked about is part of a bigger series that we call the Indoctrination series. And that's a year-long email series that has, I want to say, about 100 different emails. And that includes some emails that have an embedded video that they just click and it has, like you're saying, it has a video of us explaining some area of nutrition or mindset or introducing a new concept in the training program. And again, that's just a way to make it even more personal that we can do, put a bunch of effort into one time, and then it reproduces for hundreds and thousands of different athletes.
Yep, makes it scalable. Awesome, man. Well, beautiful. Anything else you want to add on that subject before I kind of shift gears a little bit?
Nope.
Awesome. Yeah. So gym owners, again, and this is something we work with all of our clients on, who are utilizing the platform, because that's the automation system that we provide, and we build these, not just the sales systems to help you get the conversions and all that stuff, but really the big focal point is then what happens once someone becomes a member, and building out, architecting a full life cycle, right? The whole thing needs to be about bringing someone into your culture and all that. So, but if you're listening to this or watching this and thinking like, man, I don't have these tools, there's a lot of different options. You can start really simple, build something out of, using MailChimp, Aweber, or whatever tools you prefer. Go see what's out there. They're not that much, but I encourage you, start researching this stuff, start playing around with it. It doesn't take much to start getting a really high return, especially with just a gym business. It's very simple. People are used to not getting that much out of it. So just putting some personal touches into it's going to go a really, really long way.
I have something to add along with that.
Sure.
The way that we've created each one of like this entire indoctrination series is based on questions that we were getting. And, even if just one person asks a question like, what do I do if I want to cancel? What do I do if my programming, the software is doing this, right? That means that there are probably others that aren't speaking up that 100%. Need that question answered for them. So we have this mantra of we want to answer as many questions for people before they come up. And so anytime we get a question, especially if we get it more than once, we put it into that indoctrination series at the appropriate place. So we put it before that question comes up.
Yep. Yeah, it's the same thing. I mean, we design an onboarding system for a gym, on-ramp, foundations, whatever you want to call it. It's the same thing we're doing there. We're trying to anticipate what we know based on our experience, the most common questions and concerns are, and we build those in as a topic of the day or as a blog article we send them right after they sign up, or a video that we include, and make sure that we're addressing them proactively, which again is going to also show your clients that you know what you're talking about, because they're going to feel like you're able to read their minds, is kind of the feedback that you get, where they're like, I love this place. You guys feel like you guys know what you're doing, but I really don't have to ask that many questions because you guys are so on top of it. So yeah, using those questions and fears or concerns that new clients tend to have, and using that to create your content from is really the key to this whole thing.
Right. On back to the level system, I talked about most of it, but just to drive the point home, it's similar to I don't know. It's similar and different to what a lot of gyms have. A lot of gyms have a level system where you have to be able to do certain movements or a certain number of reps or weight to test into a certain level, right? Ours is based on the first three are based on length of time. So you get the Brute Pledge patch right when you sign up, the Brute Tribe patch at 6 months, and that has a different letter that comes with it, like I said, and the Brute Life patch that comes at a year. And then if you get nominated or you nominate yourself, having done some kick-ass thing in your life, whether it be fitness related or not, then we send what we call a Brute AF patch. And again, there's a different message with that one. And what it's done is just keeps people engaged because we let people know about this whole system when they sign up, and it lets people know like what's coming next. People want to be a part of the Cool Kids Club, and they want to know, they want to just be able to say that they are like the full Brute athlete. They want all of the patches. Sure. And having been a member of several CrossFit gyms myself, especially in the beginning when I first heard about like the black level at Ute CrossFit, I just had to reach the level where I could do all of those movements and be a part of that club. It's just a very attractive thing to offer.
Yeah, it gives people something to chase. We did the same thing at Active. We created a level system, and it was based on progressions. We took all of the movement patterns and movements that we focused on in our gym, and we laid them all out into progressions and milestones for people to hit. And when we implemented that, because when we started, we just had our program. When we first developed that and implemented it, the retention and the engagement and people's focus on the right things, it was overwhelming for us, because it kind of like, it got people to chase something where they're like, hey, look, I finally made level 2. And we gave them something to celebrate. We actually had certificates. Anytime someone leveled up, it was like this little, we had some fanfare around it. We took a picture, we posted it to our social, we put it into our newsletter, and we ended up having, testing days, and it evolved into this beautiful thing. And really what people loved about our gym was that there was a path, and you could choose your path based on what your goals are, and at different levels. It wasn't just about getting to level 5. It was about understanding what the different levels mean, and that, being a level 3 athlete at Active means that you're a balanced, fit, healthy, strong, capable person. And this is where most people stay. If you want to start getting competitive, our level 4 was basically like the entry to like our RX plus kind of equivalent. And then level 5 was you're basically a competitive athlete. And it gave people an understanding of where they can land, what they can shoot for, and gave them things to chase, which for us, our initial retention, from, that kind of like 1 to 1.5 year mark, evaporated and went to 2.5, 3 years right out of the gate, because people had something that we were systematically working them through that showed them like, hey, here's the next step, and here's the next thing we're going to get to focus on once we can get 10 strict pull-ups with this tempo, and so on. So took a lot of the guesswork out of it for people, and as you know, it's really priceless for people to know what's happening next. One thing
I love that. I love the model of having specific metrics too, because I'm doing a thesis on grit and practice. And in my research, I've learned that practice doesn't make perfect. Deliberate practice makes perfect. And 100%. So when you're just going into the gym to go into the gym, you'll get and you'll stay fit. But unless you're working towards specific goals and deliberately practicing those movements, you're not going to reach your highest level of fitness. And so it really gets people on this path of mastery of certain movement patterns and stuff like that, which is really an innate desire in all humans.
And it's frankly, it's the healthy way to do anything, right? Is that you want to be focused on always working towards something, regardless of if you're working in your relationship, you're working on your fitness, you're working on your business, your career. That deliberate practice concept, I think, is one of the most valuable lessons that we can learn and implement in our life. We did an episode a few months back with Logan Gelbrick, who just, he embraces that top to bottom, and had some really beautiful things to say about it. And yeah, deliberate practice is what it is all about. One thing I do want to say though is that I feel left out. That all I got in the mail was this toilet paper roll with your face on it, which I have to say is one of the only, I don't know what you want to call it, Chotsky-esque things in my office. And I have it proud here, but I need to get on your program so I can start getting some patches too. I've got, I feel like I'm missing out now.
Nice. I'm
cool,
glad
man.
You got one of those.
Yeah. So, by the way, if you guys are watching this, you have any questions for Michael or myself, put them into the comments below, whether we address them live here today or we get to them after the show is aired, because a lot of people, you guys tend to catch it after live as well. Just put them in here, tag myself, tag Michael as we go. We're happy to answer them for you, whether it be on the show or after the fact. Michael, I did want to spend a couple minutes to kind of getting into the affiliate program a little bit more, because in our conversations and as I've been watching you set this thing up now for the last good amount of time here, it is something that I feel it really deserves a little bit more spotlight, because in all the gyms that we talk with on a regular basis, having a good upsell program, whether it be personal training, custom programming, is essential to their overall average client value, really growing the gym long term and all that. But all that said, the one key missing piece, which applies really to the core product itself, is the nutrition aspect. Can you tell us a little bit about what the program is? Or I know it's still kind of in incubation mode, if you will, but can you tell us a little bit more about it so people can understand what it looks like?
Absolutely. And first, I feel like I want to shout about this thing from the top of a rooftop, but it is like, it takes us so long to onboard people, which is why we haven't gone public with it yet. But I'm just so excited about this program because I think it's going to literally transform CrossFit gyms.
100%
we've heard over and over and over from CrossFit gym owners that I want to offer like a more in-depth nutrition system to my clients, and I just don't know what to do. And this is it. So we're going to, if you sign up with us, you're going to provide a coach, right? Either you as the gym owner or one of your coaches or someone that is going to be the nutrition coach for your gym. You're going to provide that person. We're going to train that person using the same exact system that we use to coach new WAG coaches. And that's a 4-phase system. And at the end of each phase, you get feedback from one of our head coaches on your progress and just kind of walking you through that training course. While that coach is in training, I'm personally having a meeting with the administrator or the gym owner, whoever is going to be kind of running the business side of the nutrition program. And we're going to talk about marketing and sales. We're going to give a ton of resources for email marketing, for website copy, social media marketing, kind of a launch strategy for inside the gym, like in the physical location. And we're going to talk about the best way to go about actually teaching your gym members what the program is and how to sell it to them. After that, we're going to support you in a bunch of different ways. It goes from a video check-in with one of our head coaches to email check-in, and then you get unlimited support via a Facebook group, which is access to us pretty much 24/7. So we're going to support the coaches just like we support our current WAG members through a weekly check-in.
I think it's so important to note what you just said about actually helping the gym sell the program, because that's where I think everyone trips over themselves in building these kinds of programs for gyms, and that they forget the fact that, you can create the best nutrition program, strength program, whatever you want to get the coach get the gym owner to resell or to sell to their gym, and it's going to add value. But you have to show them how to actually do it. And what you're doing with working with the gym owners to show them exactly how you're going to market this, how you're going to implement this for existing people, for new people, whether it's just members, it's outside the gym, is really the differentiator, I think, in this program. Aside from the fact that, the WAG system just works better than anything else that I've seen out there. You guys get incredible results for people. And so showing the gym owners, in essence, you're making them almost like a WAG coach, but they're in essence white labeling the methodology and even the tools. So I know you guys have a killer software platform that your internal coaches use to manage the clients, which is a big part of what makes this so fluid and feel so good for the person on the other end. You're going to actually be providing that for the gym owners as well, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So the coach, your nutrition coach is going to use our software to check in your clients. And man, if the people that sign up, they're going to get results. If they follow the program, they're going to get results. I've never seen a program with a higher level of adherence, right? So we're so confident in that part of it. And the challenging part and the part that we're going to figure out together with these new gyms that we're onboarding is how do we effectively sell the program? And already we have a ton of marketing materials, and I'm pumped to figure out ways to educate gym members and see how we can sell them on the program.
Awesome, man. Well, I can't wait to see this become the new gold standard, because I know that once this rolls out officially and is available to gym owners all over the world, it will become the new normal, I think, in the CrossFit gym, because it is the missing piece, right? You can't train your way out of a shitty diet. And because of how you guys approach, and really how Adi put this program together, the reason why it works is not just the nutrition advice. It's about how the person feels about the advice that they're getting because they actually implement it. It's just like training. It doesn't take the most intelligent program design to get someone incredible results. You have to get the person to do it and want to do it over and over and over again. The repetition is what's going to get the results, right? Just following a program successfully is already going to work better. You mix that with an actually really good program, and then you give the gym owner the tools to basically look like a hero because they're getting everyone incredible results. I think you guys are changing the game, so I can't wait to see this thing roll out.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I can't imagine a gym that this wouldn't work for. Yep. You know, I think this is going to not only change their clients' bodies, right? But it's going to change the way that they approach a lot of different things in life, because it's going to, we help people make very subtle behavior changes that transfer to a lot of different areas of life.
Love it, man. All right, Michael, I want to thank you for being on with us today. Where can people learn more about you and Brute and working against gravity? I know we've got a laundry list, and we'll include everything in the show notes, by the way, but where can people find more about you and what you're up to?
Yeah, so the websites are right behind you, Marcus, brutestrengthtraining.com and workingagainstgravity.com. I'm not really on social media. At least I don't have them on my phone, but it's just Michael Cazayoux, Cazayoux. I post about once a year now. So don't try to keep up with me too closely there.
Yeah, at very least, guys, make sure you follow check out the Brute podcast. It's one of my very favorite ones out there because of how wide you guys go and really just the overall, I think, a perspective on life in training that you guys have is world class. So, Michael, thank you so much for being on the show, man, and sharing your ideas and your projects with us. And hopefully for those of you guys watching, this was valuable to you. What Michael shared today are some really, massive concepts that don't take very much work to implement. It really just takes some thoughtfulness and understanding the game that you're playing and putting these things in place. You'll see incredible return for the time you put into it. So, Michael, thank you again. And we'll catch all of you guys here again next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you, brother.